Let's talk about the 3 million project that almost broke me. It started with a simple email. So somebody went onto my website www.amazingprojecttherapist.com and left this email for me. You're leading the migration project and the deadline is 6 months. I remember reading those words, feeling the weight of the responsibility instantly. My heart raced. I was about to take on something huge, a 3 million project, migrating a legacy banking system to the cloud. Sounds straightforward, right? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't anything but. I walked into my first team meeting with all the energy of someone who believes they have everything under control. All right, team, we've got this. 6 months. We are migrating legacy banks' outdated infrastructure to a cloud-native solution. On time, under budget, zero downtime. My team nodded and eyes focused, ready to dive in. But here is the thing. They didn't know what I was thinking. Do I even have a plan? As a project manager, that's what came to my mind. Do I even have a plan? I hadn't fully grasped the complexity of what I just signed up for. A system with over 20 integrations, each more fragile than the last. A client who wasn't entirely sure what they wanted, and the tightest deadline I had ever seen. I dove into the planning phase, mapping out tasks and assigning roles. But as the weeks went by, the cracks began to show. Let's talk about the cracks that began to show. By week 3, things started going downhill. First, we hit a roadblock. The DevOps pipeline failed. Our deployment process wasn't compatible with the client's outdated infrastructure. My stomach sank. The team scrambled to find a fix, but the damage was done. Time was slipping away. Then, one of our senior developers went on emergency leave, leaving us short-handed on a critical task. And just when we thought it couldn't get worse, the client went quiet. No response, no feedback. We had hit a brick wall. I knew we were in trouble, but I refused to admit it. I scheduled a meeting with the team to try to reframe things. We can do this. We are not giving up, I said. But deep down, I was panicking. Was this the project that would break me? That's the question that kept coming to my mind. Now, it was time for me to press a reset button. I called an emergency strategy session. No blaming, no finger pointing, just solution. That is how I started that meeting that day. We needed to regroup, so I introduced some new roles to get us back on track. We shortened our sprints from 3 weeks to 2. We started having daily 15 minutes check-in with the team to make sure that everyone on that team was on track, that nothing slipped through the cracks. And we held a war room every morning to tackle roadblocks immediately. I won't lie to you, I really felt exhausted, but it was during these tough moments that I realized something important. As a leader, I couldn't afford to show weakness. The team was looking to me for guidance, and I needed to steer us out of the storm. They needed clarity, not panic. At the same time, I had to face the client. I flew to their headquarters, sat down face to face with the stakeholders and cleared up the miscommunication. They didn't fully understand the complexity of the project, so I walked them through it. We aligned expectations, agreed on new deadlines, and they gave us the resources that we needed. It was a tough conversation, but necessary. This was a turning point. By month 4, let's get into the turning point. By month 4, we had found our groove. things started to fall in place. The team was functioning like a well-oiled machine. The developers were writing code faster, the designers were getting better feedback loops, and the QA team was ahead of schedule. We started closing out tasks as fast-paced, and the velocity chart began to show real progress. But the client, well, they were still nervous. They didn't trust us yet. They wanted to prove that we could deliver. Every time I showed progress, it was met with a, "But what about this?" I could feel the tension. But this was where the real magic happened. The team. We all rallied together, the work nights, weekends, and spent hours in intense problem-solving sessions. One of the junior developers even stepped up and rewrote a huge chunk of the DevOps pipeline, something only a senior engineer was expected to do. It was a huge risk, but it worked. It wasn't just about me anymore. The team had taken ownership, and that made all the difference. Now, let's talk about the final countdown. Then came the final stretch. The last month of the project. This was it. There were no more excuses. The night before the go live, everything seemed perfect. The system was stable, all the integrations worked, and the user acceptance testing was successful. But then, at midnight, I got a message from our data vendor. There's a compliance issue with the cross-region backups. I froze. Compliance was non-negotiable. This was a clear disaster. We had 12 hours until lunch. Panic set in, but I couldn't let the team see it. I called a late-night meeting. The senior cloud architect jumped in and started patching the issues. The compliance officer approved the changes at 6 a.m. and by 8 a.m. we were live. I remember watching the first transaction go through the system, and then the second, and then the third, and then 1,000. It worked. It was actually working. Now, let's talk about how we did it. We did it. We launched the project ahead of schedule, under budget, and with zero downtime. The client was ecstatic. We had rebuilt their trust, and in the process had rebuilt our team as well. It wasn't perfect, but it was a huge win. And for me, the most important lesson came from a simple truth. The best projects don't go smoothly. They go through fire. They go through water. They go through hills. They go through valleys. They go through agreements. They go through disagreement. They go through testing and other processes. And the team that came out on the other side stronger, more connected, and more resilient are the ones that truly succeed. I never forget Project Phoenix. It almost broke me, but it also made me a better leader and a stronger person. Oh my goodness. I can never forget that project. Now, if you're managing a project, remember this. It's not the smooth rides that make you grow. It's the rough roads you navigate together as a team. Always remember to appreciate your team. Always remember to thank your team. Always remember that you are not the one working on the project by yourself, but you have team members who equally value the project as much as you do. I had roadblocks, my team members had roadblocks, but what kept us going together is the thought idea that we are all working for a common goal to deliver value and success to our client. As the project manager and the founder and CEO of Amazing Project Therapies, I believe that myself and my team came through on this Project Phoenix, and we were able to deliver and to add value to the project and helping their banking system migrate from the legacy banking system to cloud. It sounds straightforward at the beginning, but let me tell you that when we started walking into it, it was more than what the eyes would meet. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, hit the follow button if you want to stay with me. Our next post is gonna be on how to manage a project from start to finish. I am your coach Mimi.